24th of May, Rabbi Furst, Ruth.
Okay, I'm just getting. Okay,
Sorry, I was looking down at the Sefer. I didn't realize you were here.
it's very good, no problem.
Sorry.
Good morning,
I
This is
apologize.
Rabbi Shlomo Furst here at Yeshiva Tamanafshi here in Yerushalayim Kiryat Zoom. This is our first year we're learning Ruth. Yeah, good morning, Barry. Good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Lou. How's
Good
everyone
morning.
today?
Morning.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning, Rabbi.
See
Good
you
morning.
all. Okay, we're in Megillas Ruth, the fourth parak. Let's see, which pasuk did we leave off at?
You wanted to repeat Gimel.
Okay, let's take a look then. Yeah, and who would like to volunteer to read?
Who read yesterday?
I don't remember.
Okay.
All right.
Whoever would like to go.
Were you able
Whoever's
to look
starting-
at Tesuvos, Rabbi?
I did not have a chance yet. We'll try and get to it today, okay?
Great.
Okay, I'll do it. Vaomer, and he said, the Goel Chelkas Hasoda Asher Hinu Elimelech Machra Naomi Hashava Mizdei Moab. And he said to the near kinsman, Naomi, who has returned from the field of Moab, is selling the portion of the field that belonged to our brother, to Elimelech.
You translated Hagoel as the near kinsman, but it's actually a redeemer.
Yeah, no, well, in my Judaic, it says near kinsman.
That's also included because it has to be part of the family inheritance. Again, we're trying to keep this land has to be kept within the nachla of the family. Right? So whoever's going to be redeeming it must be from one of the family members. Okay.
So we can take, we were, I think Rebbe said yesterday that this pasuk is referring to the ketubah of Naomi. That's her portion.
Right.
Right. She's interested in the ketubah.
Right.
But she's not the owner of the land.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. We'll see.
Right.
We'll see the point that the Goyal is going to use as one of his excuses why not to go through with the deal, because it's going to affect his land status here. Yeah. Okay, let's see the next pasuk. Daled.
Va'ani Omarti, and I said, Egla is necha lemor kinei neged chayeshvim v'neged ziknei ami in tigal goal v'im lo yigal hagida li v'eda ki ein tuloscha v'gol v'anochi achirecha v'omer anochi egel. And I said, I will let you know, saying, buy it in the presence of those who sit here and before the elders of my people. If you will redeem, redeem. And if he will not redeem, tell me, and I will know, for there is no one besides you to redeem, and I am after you. And he said, I will redeem.
Good. So he committed himself, right?
So he said, so he's saying, I'll buy the land and give Naomi her ketubah.
Right.
But when he says I will redeem, who is he redeeming it from? Redeeming means it's in the possession of someone and he's going to buy it. Is it a third party?
No, I believe it's in the possession of Naomi. That was the way I'm understanding. That was the field that was given to her for her payment of her kasuba. That was her payment of kasuba. But she doesn't. She doesn't want the land because the land's not going to be hers forever. So she's just selling this. So it has to be sold back to somebody into the family.
But
Okay.
wouldn't the halacha be with all the deaths of Elimelech's family that the land would have been inherited by one of the close family members automatically?
Well, no, because not if it's there as part of the payment for the kasuba, right?
She has a lien. She has a lien on it.
Yeah, but right, I understand she has a lien, but still, someone could be the owner of the property with a lien. If I'm buying a piece of land and someone says to me, "Well, I owe $1,000 taxes on it," so I say, "Okay, I'll buy the land and I'll take care of the lien." But I bought the land.
Right. So that's why it's called he's being goyal. He's being goyal. He's not really buying the land for the sake of buying it as gaining ownership. It's really within his ownership, but he's now, by redeeming it, he's taking off the collateral status. He's taking off the lien, the mortgage on the land. There's a mortgage on the land.
I hear.
That's the way I understand it.
Okay.
By redeeming it, he's taking off the mortgage on the land. Naomi has a mortgage on the land.
Right. I hear. Okay. That fits together. All right. Continuing on.
Yes, let's see the next part.
Vayomer Boaz, Vayom Kinotcha Hasodeh Miyad Naomi Umeis Ruth Hamavia Ashes Hames Kinita Hakim Shem Hames Al Nachlasa. And Boaz said, on the day that you buy the field from the hand of Naomi and from Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the deceased, you have bought it to preserve the name of the deceased on his heritage. Well, see, now it says, the English translation says, on the day that you buy the field from the hand of Naomi. That's not what we just said, that someone owns the land, but there's a lien on the land. It's saying here that they're buying it from Naomi, the land, the field, right from Naomi. So that, I mean, the Lashon is not like what we're trying to say, that someone owns the land, but there's a lien by Naomi on the land. That's not what this pasuk is saying.
So the question is this answer that was given, right? Well, how do we interpret his answer? What was his response here?
His response is that he can't endanger his own heritage.
Let's see.
Right, and why should that be? In what way is he endangering his nachla?
That's pasuk Vav you're referring to? What he replied?
Well, that'll be primarily in pasuk Vav, right?
Vayomer hagoel lo ucha.
Right.
He's frozen.
You're right, Roy. He's frozen.
Modern technology.
Yeah.
I should really, I'll read this if I may, but I really should, Barry should probably hear it as well, but still. The literal offered for sale, the literal translation is Naomi has sold. But the context of the verse, according to most of the commentators, demands our translation is being offered for sale, because Naomi had not in fact sold the field as it appears from verse 5. Rather, Machara Nami here means Naomi was determined to sell. The commentators discuss the halachic status of such a sale and suggest that in a classic sense, redemption would imply that the field had already been either sold or was in the process of being sold to someone else, and it is the duty of the nearest of kin to redeem its sale. In the strict halachic sense, however, had the property already been sold to another, there would have been a 2-year waiting period between the sale and redemption, which certainly was not the case here. Therefore, in the final analysis, most commentators, that's Rashi, Rambam, Ibn Ezra, El-Kabetz, and the Al-Sheikh, agree that in this case, a prior sale had not taken place.
Right.
I don't know if that's of any help or not.
Somewhat. I mean, but we're gonna have the question is why is this the expression that the pasuk is using is making it difficult. What's the proper understanding in the first, right? They're explaining it, right?
Well, according to my commentary, Rabbi, the hesitation of Tov is not financial. He's concerned about that fact that he's married. He doesn't want to ruin his marriage.
Yeah, well, yeah, that right. Yeah, that's right. That's
It says in my commentary, it says, house and wealth are an inheritance from fathers, but from the Lord is an intelligent wife, according to Proverbs.
right.
So
Hey, I'm sorry.
first was inheritance. He's talking about
Yeah,
his
okay,
wife.
Mm-hmm. All right. I mean that you know that's one way of understanding it. Nachal is not usually an expression used for a person's wife, but you could stretch it.
Okay. Sorry for the, I got cut off.
Rashi
outage.
says it has to. Rashi explains it. It's a hashkis is not loso hashkis zori. He's going to affect the name of his the reputation of his family.
Right.
Right. So he didn't want because at that point there was no knowledge of the halacha Moavi below Moavavis, right? So therefore he was not. I mean, that would have ruined his family's reputation if he would have. So that's another understanding. Yeah. Yeah. So Barry, this expression Makra Naomi. So it's not exactly agreed upon by all the Meforshim exactly what the kavanah was here. I think the easiest way for me to understand it is that was her chelik of the field through her kesuba, and she had as we said, the collateral on that, and the opportunity should be made now to redeem the field from being mortgaged to Naomi, and that's what's being referred to here.
Okay.
All right. Let's see the next.
Zion,
Yes, Pasuk Zion.
V'zod, L'fonim, B'Yisrael, Al Hagolah, V'al Hatamura, L'kayim Kol Devar, Shalaf Ish Nalo, V'no son, V'Yehu, V'es Hatuda, B'Yisrael. It was the custom in former times in Israel concerning redemption and exchange to confirm anything one would then remove his shoe and give it to his fellow, and this was the attestation in Israel.
It's like instead of we use a handshake to symbolize a completion of an agreement or a deal. But in those days, they would take off the shoe and they would. That's how they would do it. Right. So this doesn't necessarily have to be a reference to chalitza. Mm.
I've got an interesting little note here that hata'oda, the word ratification, it's got the word ad, witness, ayin dalad in
Yes.
it.
Yes. Yes. So this is a witness to. So what are we witnessing here?
We're witnessing that he's getting out of the redemption process. He's handing it over to Boaz.
Okay. Yeah. Is there any? I mean, why should this be such a momentous event?
Because is it that are we now is Boaz now making an announcement that a female Moabite is permissible to marry into the Jews?
Well, so that's that. I mean, again, why was this being done? This was being done because Polyamoni was not willing to be the redeemer, right?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Why was this being done? Why is this announcement being done?
Because Boaz had to give Ploni Almoni the opportunity to exercise his right before Boaz could exercise the right.
Right, but so but that shouldn't make it such a momentous occasion, right? That you have to make such an announcement about this.
Right, exactly. That could have been done even privately. You don't even have to convene 10 people, etc. That was just a regular transaction, a normal transaction. But because Ruth is now in the picture, that's the complication.
Yeah.
But I still don't understand is why is she in the picture? What does she have to do with any of these transactions? She didn't own the land. Naomi had a lien on the land. She was owed her ketubah. So so she's involved. But Ruth is a Ge'eris who at the time that she was converted, she's a new person.
Right. Right.
She's not even Naomi's daughter-in-law.
Right.
Halachically. So what? You know.
Well, it
All
says,
right, she's a nice lady.
it says it very clearly in verse 5. It says, from Ruth the Moabite, the wife of the deceased, you have also bought it to raise up the name of the deceased on his inheritance.
That's what he says. But what I'm saying is that's not possible, because that raising up the name of the deceased and all that business is if you are halachically somebody's wife.
Therefore, she must have halachically been his wife.
Where do you see that?
He says it's the statement of Boaz. Boaz is saying it.
And what is Boaz saying?
He says, the day you buy the field from the hand of Naomi, from Ruth the Moabite, the wife of the deceased, you have also bought it to raise up the name of the deceased on his inheritance. So he's saying that she is his wife, and his name has to be raised up by marrying her.
Right. So that's exactly the whole point that Barry's mentioning. Where do you see that Ruth was ever the legal wife of Machlon?
This is where you see it.
But so what does that mean? So now go back all the way back to the beginning. So she was so how did Ruth marry Machlon?
She must have converted.
A Moabitess is not permitted to marry a Jew.
Boaz is now announcing to the world his halachic ruling that a Moabitess can marry.
So how's that going to help what happened 20 years ago?
Exactly. That's the point.
He's saying it was the law is that she can marry. Therefore, retroactively, I am hereby ratifying the marriage.
Can't make something retroactively ratified. If they had a son, let's say Machlon had a son, right? His son would be considered to be Jewish or non-Jew?
Jewish.
If
you don't say that, then how can it say that Ruth is the wife of the deceased?
That's exactly the problem here.
That's the problem.
I say this is the solution.
It's making things worse. By calling Ruth the wife, only generically speaking was she the wife.
Can she be called a concubine? Does that make any difference?
I'm not sure.
I'm just thinking maybe wife really means concubine.
You know, this is like a short blanket. You know, there's a fable about a person who has a short blanket. When he goes to sleep, if he covers his up to his chin, his feet are uncovered and his feet are cold. If he uses the short blanket to cover his feet, his neck and shoulders are cold. It's a short blanket. No matter wherever you try to move this blanket, you come up short. There's no glot answer.
You know, Barry, it's even worse than that. It's a short blanket and you and I are sharing it.
That's really bad.
Yeah. But all the shame shemayim, Lou.
That's right.
We disagree, l'shem.
My feet are still cold.
So you can't. There's no way to satisfactorily answer it. But like Rebbe says, you can't retroactively, say something was kosher because at the time that Boaz makes the announcement that this is the halacha, that doesn't mean that everybody in the past centuries, we can now say, oh, well, they can go marry somebody now or whatever. You can't. It's only
It doesn't
active.
matter what people say in the past centuries. Boaz is the Av based in and the Goel and the Gadol Hador.
But what he is saying,
this is the halacha. It's the halacha today, It was the
As of
halacha
today.
20 years ago.
No, that's the point. It's the halacha as of today. That's what Rebbe just said.
Is that
When
true?
Boaz makes his announcement, it's as of today is the halacha, but not retroactively. That's what Rebbe
So you're
just
saying
said.
Boaz has the power to change the halacha?
No, why did that's the whole point. Why did he bring the 10? Why did he call the 10 together? Right? So they explained that because he wants to now make it public knowledge that this is the halacha that the Moabites can marry. Right? But
Right.
There was a halacha before, but not public.
He wants to make it publicly known that this is the halacha, but are you saying he's changing the halacha or he's just announcing what the halacha is?
That's not clear. To change to what the halacha is, if now he's declaring that this is the halacha, it can only be the halacha from now and onward. Can't be a halacha going back.
But how can Boaz change the halacha? Hashem establishes what the halacha is.
No, we made the halacha is in the hands of the chod.
So you're saying this is a rabbinic halacha?
When the Torah says you give 40 makas, right? The Gemara in Makkah says you give only 39. You don't give 40, right?
Right.
Torah says 40, right? So, but the Chachamim come and tell you the 40 means 39, right? So the Chachamim tell us because they're privileged to understand what the Torah is meaning to teach us.
But they're not saying as of now it's 39. They're saying it was always 39.
Right, but the question is now when he's now saying that halacha, again, you can only paskin a halacha based on your knowledge at the time. Right? You can't paskin something now and say that's going to be what it was when they didn't know this.
But isn't Boaz saying that when Hashem said that you can't marry, a Moabite cannot marry, he meant a male Moabite cannot marry. That was his original intention. And I'm explaining to you 10 people that is the halacha.
As of today.
No, not as of today. As of when Hashem made the statement.
No, because then you'd have to go back to other female Moabites and say, well, all these children we thought were not Jewish are Jewish. That's a nightmare. You can't conduct a civilization like that.
I don't know what children
you can't go back and say, oh, all these ladies were really Jewish, so now we'll we'll give all these guys bar mitzvahs now.
What ladies are you talking
about? It's starting from now, from when Boaz convenes the Bezdin.
There's no ladies that you're talking about. There's only Ruth.
What about Machlon had a brother, right? Kilyon.
Yeah.
Right? He also didn't have any children, right? He also married a Moabitess, right?
Okay.
Right.
So where's
Pasuk test would clear it up a little bit?
What?
What Boaz says to the Bezdin?
What do you mean?
Should we go on?
Rabbi was in the middle of saying something, Barry.
I know it's okay. So we'll go further. Don't worry. Let's go further.
Okay. Vayomer Boaz leziknei l'chol ha'am. He says to the Bezdin, the elders, and all the people that are witnessing there. Eidim atem, you're all witnesses. Hayom, today. Ki kaniti et kol asher Elimelech ve'et kol asher Chilion u'Machlon miyad Naomi. So he says, you are witnesses today, starting today, that I have brought all that was Elimelech's and all that was Chilion's and Machlon's from Naomi, miad Naomi. V'gam et Rus Hamoivia Eshes Machlon Kiniti li Leisha. I've acquired her for myself for a wife. Lahakem Shem Hames al Nachlosa Velo Yakires Shem Hames Im Echov Umi Sha'ar Mikoma Edem Atem Hayom. I have acquired for myself a wife to preserve the name of the deceased. Oh, and also Ruth the Moabite, this Machlon's wife, have I acquired for myself for a wife to preserve the name of the deceased on his heritage, so that the name of the deceased not be obliterated from his brethren and from the gate of his place. You are witnesses today.
So, okay, so good. Let's leave that, hold that for a moment. So, now I want to know, I want you to tell me what, we're concerned here about Machlon, right?
Yeah.
So Machlon had a brother, didn't he?
Chilion, right.
Okay, so where's Killian in all this picture over here, this whole story?
Well, he was married to someone who's is not supposedly Jewish.
Well, according to Boaz, is she Jewish or not?
Is he Jewish?
No, he was Machlon's brother.
Yeah, right.
Killian was Machlon's brother.
Right, but not his
Right.
wife, Orpha.
Right. And so well, according to Boaz, right, was according to Boaz, when did Ruth become Jewish?
No, I have no idea. It's not clear.
Okay.
Okay, so
preserve
my position is that according to Boaz, Ruth became Jewish prior to marrying Machlon.
Okay. And what about Ruth's sister? When did she become Jewish?
I don't know that she did. There's no evidence here one way or the other as to her status.
Why? She was Orpah was married to Machlon's brother.
Right. You have to say that if one was converted, the other was converted also.
Why do you have to say that?
Because one brother is not going to if it was an important issue for Elimelech's boys to marry Jewish girls, then both of them would do it.
Maybe it wasn't
And if-
an important issue for Elimelech. Maybe it was an important issue for Machlon.
Well, there's no that's only you're only surmising. There's no evidence. If one, I mean, it would be normal if they both married these girls, the ceremonies would be the same. Whatever one did, the other did.
Actually, Barry, it's you who are surmising. I do have evidence. I already gave you the evidence. The fact
That
that
what?
the fact that Boaz says that when you on the day you buy the field from Naomi, you buy it from Ruth, the wife of Machlon.
Right.
That is the evidence that she converted. You have no evidence about Orpah. There's nothing stated here about Orpah.
There's nothing stated about Ruth either.
It says Ruth, the wife of the deceased.
So if Ruth was permitted to come into the Jewish people, so her sister also was permitted to come into the Jewish people.
Yes.
Exactly.
So
Right.
exactly.
It does not mean she did it.
That means Killion also is here. Where's the field of Killion?
It says, I'm buying both. It says, I'm buying all that is Elimelech's and all that is Kilion's and Machlon's.
Where does it say that?
That's Pasuk 9, 4:9.
Take a look. Kol Asher L'Kilion U'Machloin, right?
right?
So there, so you see from here, right, you see from here that if Kilion and Machlon were both married to Jewish women, right? So just as David was a offspring of Ruth, and Goliath was an offspring of Orpah, so Goliath also should be Jewish just as well as David was Jewish.
Wouldn't that only be true if Goliath's mother was Jewish?
That was saying that his mother was Jewish, because Kilion's field is here as well. Where did the field of Kilion come to fruition here?
Right.
If a Moabite woman was in the line of of Goliath, then she would render Goliath not Jewish. What does that have to do with the property? The property was inherited by Kilion and Machlon. All he's saying here is that I'm buying the whole property.
So then Ruth doesn't have to be connected with the property.
Exactly.
She does because she's the wife.
So Orpah was also the wife.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right, exactly.
so what?
So if Ruth was Jewish, then Orpah was Jewish, and they're both wives, and they both have the same rights.
Okay, let's say that's true. So what?
So there has to be a yibum for
Kilion.
Kilion as well.
You mean for Orpah?
Well, Kilion and Orpah, the same thing. Just like
But Orpah's
Ruth
not
is
here.
Ruth is carrying the shame of Machlon, so Orpah's carrying the shame of Kilion.
Okay.
Even if
Orpah's not here, so
that doesn't matter. Even if she was dead, if she was Jewish and she died, this redemption for the souls would still have to take place.
you can't marry a dead woman.
No, we're not talking about dead. We're talking about her connection, her spiritual connection. That's what Boaz is talking about. Ruth has a spiritual connection.
Boaz does not say anything about Orpah. Orpah is not present. She has returned to her gods. She's an idol worshiper.
Well, Machlon's not here either. He's dead also.
But Ruth is here.
But what is the representation of Ruth for Machlon? Machlon was a man, and Ruth is a woman.
She was his wife.
So therefore,
according to what it says in the pasuk, it's necessary to raise up the name of the dead through Yibum with Ruth.
what's the necessity for that?
Because since she was his wife and she was Jewish, there is a spiritual connection between her and him.
So that was also with Kilion and Orpah, that also existed.
Yes, that's true. So what? Orpah's not present. You can't marry Orpah because she's not there.
But the field is connected to her.
But she has cut herself off from it by becoming an idol worshiper.
Well, and that's not true. Once Jewish, you're always Jewish.
I don't get what you're saying. What are you saying the pasuk would say differently based on your contention about Orpah?
The necessity of doing what we're doing with the necessity of what's being done with Ruth, right, should also be mirrored in some type of a necessity to be done with Orpah. It's true she's not here, but should be some spirit. The whole thing is a spiritual necessity. So we're not really concerned if people are here or not. This is all spiritual necessities.
So in verse 10, it says, also Ruth the Moabite, wife of Machlon, I have acquired for myself as a wife to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. So you're saying it should say also Ruth and Orpah, wives of Machlon and Kilion, I have acquired for myself this day.
Should say there should be something that's relevant to Kilion here as well, because the connection is through the field. If there was no field, there would be apparently no connection.
But okay, so my objection, Rabbi, is that it can't say I'm acquiring Orpah because Orpah is not present to be acquired. So there's no way that the pasuk could take that into account. If in other words, I'm saying if you want to say that the pasuk has to be written differently, in order for it to be true that Ruth was converted, then tell me what it should say. You can't tell me it should say I acquire Orpah as the wife because she's not there. He can't acquire her. So what would the pasuk say differently?
It's not
in
the
order to
pasuk.
include
It's
Orpah?
not the pasuk. It's the intention of Boaz. What's Boaz's intention over here? What is Boaz trying to accomplish over here?
It says what he's trying to accomplish is to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance.
Right. So so why just Machlon? Why not Kilion?
Because
They were his nephews.
because
They were
Orpah
both
is not
nephews.
present.
But it doesn't matter. They were both nephews.
How can he raise up the name of Kilion if Orpah is not there?
You'll have to figure out some way to do it.
So you're saying he can't do Yibum with Ruth unless he goes and gets Orpah and brings her to Israel and includes her in the ceremony?
Something should be done for Kilion.
I'm lost.
The fact that she returned doesn't mean that she excluded herself and she's not involved in this situation. You know?
But
That's the way I look at it.
But if the whole point of Boaz is he's trying to do something. Who's he trying to do something for? Ruth or for Machlon? For Machlon. So Kilion was also his nephew, correct? So why he should do something for Kilion as well. I'm not smart enough to figure out what he should do, but if he's doing something for Ruth, so Ruth is in front of him, he'll do something for Ruth. If he's doing something Machlon is dead. So is Kilion's dead.
Yeah, but Ruth is Jewish and her sister is not Jewish, so that is the big difference, in my opinion.
Oh, so that's the big question. When did Ruth become Jewish?
When she married Machlon.
And when Orpah, when she married Kilion, Machlon decided to misguire Ruth, and Kilion didn't desire to misguire Orpah?
I wasn't there, Charlie, so I don't know.
Yes, that's my contention.
Machlon
and Kilion are two different people. They acted differently.
Not
Fitka's on your side.
It's not logical. They had their father was there. Whatever the father wanted for one, he would want for both.
Wait, I thought, no, the father wasn't there. The father died.
When did they get married? Was the father around when they got married?
Did
Don't
they have
think
one
so.
ceremony or two ceremonies?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Does it say?
Says,
Do we know when they got married?
Elimelech died, and she was left with her two sons in Pasuk 3. In Pasuk 4, it says they got married. So Elimelech was dead.
So at that point, he was not around. At that point, he was not around.
But Naomi was,
Yeah, Naomi was. All right.
meaning that she wouldn't she wouldn't go along with one getting converted and one not.
I don't get where you're coming up with this rule that both of them have to do the same thing.
Maybe they had the same caterer, that's why.
Yeah. I would,
We know Orpah was not on the level of Ruth. Ruth was a very exceptional person. Orpah was not.
Orpah also wanted to return. She wanted to come back with Naomi, but she took the hint when Naomi told her to get lost. She got lost.
Right, but we know from the commentaries that Orpah was not such a great person.
Well, I mean, that was maybe after she left. I don't know. I mean, her sister was Ruth. I mean, if you assume they were sisters, they were both.
Naomi could not have said to Orpah, go back to your gods, if she was at that point Jewish, right?
She
Couldn't say
couldn't say go back to your gods, even if she wasn't Jewish.
That she could.
Is that true, Rabbi? Can you tell a non-Jew that they should go worship idols?
She was telling both of them to go back.
All I'm saying is the fact that she said return to your gods is not a proof that she was not Jewish, because even if she's not Jewish, there's a problem with making that statement.
Rashi says when Naomi told Ruth to take the Ratzka Vesika, she should bathe herself, cleanse herself from her avodah zarah. That was the night she was with Boaz. Before going to Boaz, she was commanded by Naomi to forsake her avodah zarahs at that point.
Uh-huh.
That's what Rashi says there.
Right.
What pasuk are you saying this on?
That's in parak 3, the third parak. Let's see. I think see.
Pasuk 3, chapter 3, Pasuk 3.
Gimel, Pasuk Gimel, right.
V'chatzt, v'sacht, v'samt, shom lo seich, sayich, alayich, v'yoradet hagoren et.
Okay, so I have a
Today.
comment, Rabbi, that addresses what you just said. It says, cleanse yourself of idolatry. Although Ruth had long since abandoned idolatry, she had not yet undergone the required ritual immersion before a conversion court of 3 judges. For upon arriving in Bethlehem, she had immediately gone to pick in the field and worked straight to the harvest season. Or else she had already immersed, and Naomi now simply warned her to shun pagan customs and superstitions. Thus, our sages also explain virachatzta as purify your soul, a step that follows conversion.
So this is her conversion here. Anyway, so the question is Boaz trying to do something for Machlon, or is he trying to do something for Ruth?
Well, it appears on the surface he's trying to do something for Russ, but that's not what he. But that's not what he says. He mentions Chilion and Machlon.
Well, that's just in terms of the field, I think, right?
Yeah, the field, right?
Right.
So the field part is for Machlon and Chilion to redeem the field. But how do you fit Ruth? I've been wondering this for weeks. How does Ruth fit into this equation?
Look at Pasuk 10. Chapter 4, Pasuk 10. Also Ruth the Moabite, wife of Machlon, I have acquired for myself as a wife to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. Very clear.
Okay, but the point is that when she converts, right, she is a new person. She has no connection. She's not anybody's wife or former wife. She's a new person. She doesn't even have a mother or a father. So how does she then fit in? That's my question. I understand what Boaz is saying. You know, he's going to preserve the name, but there's no necessity to do that because upon her conversion, she's a totally new person. She's not even Naomi's daughter-in-law.
Look at Pasuk 5.
Yeah.
It says, Ruth the Moabite, the wife of the deceased. Pretty clear.
She converted.
But how could she be his wife before she converted?
Exactly. That's the point. How do you explain it? I know what the pasuk says, but how do you explain
she
it?
converted.
So
That's
what's Rashi talking about in Pasuk Gimel? According to your own commentary.
She converted
When
before she married Machlon, she converted, but she didn't do the
How?
final step of the immersion until she got to Israel.
Read your commentary on Pasuk 3 again.
A second. Where did I see that?
That was on the Rashi on Pasuk in Perek Gimel, Pasuk Gimel.
Oh, Perek Gimel, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was in the wrong chapter. Pasuk Gimel. Right, bathe and anoint yourself. So it says on the phrase, v'rachatzta, cleanse yourself of idolatry. Although Ruth had long since abandoned idolatry, she had not yet undergone the required ritual immersion before a conversion court of 3 judges. Upon arriving at Bethlehem, she had immediately gone to pick in the field and worked straight through the harvest season, or else she had already immersed, and Naomi now simply warned her to shun pagan customs and superstitions. Thus, our sages explained that v'rachatzta as purify your soul, a step that follows conversion. So I'm
Right.
saying that she, according to the end of this commentary, she converted way back when, 10 years ago. And
What kind
now,
of- you can't convert without the base din. You can't just decide to be a Jew.
And you can't convert without the immersion.
You can't convert without the immersion also.
right, so
Not-
this
it's not-
says
it's not being Jew-
she
it's not being
immersed,
Jewish, not being Jewish in your heart. You have to do it according to the rules.
right,
Right.
but Rabbi, it says, or else she had already immersed. And Naomi now simply warned her to shun pagan customs and superstitions.
Okay.
So that's why
And-
our sages explain it means purify your soul, a step that
and-
follows
and-
conversion.
And the next part of the Rashi is Sachta. What's Sachta? Rashi says, what's that referring to?
What does Rashi say again?
In Gimel, right? Rashi says, Perek Gimel, Pasuk Gimel. Rashi says, the Sachta, that's mitzvahs,
That's what?
mitzvot. That's Kabbalah's mitzvahs. She was makabel the mitzvahs at that point.
She was makabel the mitzvahs when she immersed prior to going down to the field, to the threshing floor.
Apparently, according to Rashi.
So
So Naomi convened a Besdin, etc. I mean, she just for her to go take a dip in the river, it is not official. It has to be witnesses, etc.
You see all these, the Megillah doesn't go, the Psukim, the Megillah don't go into all these facts. It's very nebulous, exactly. That's
Right.
for whatever reason, that was not the interest of the Megillah in telling us all these facts. So in any event, well, we've gone a bit off over time. We have to understand what was driving Boaz. What was he trying to accomplish here? Boaz wasn't a small person. Neither was Naomi, neither was Ruth. What was Boaz trying to accomplish? Okay. As I said, we can maybe try and we'll go further in the Psukim tomorrow and try
Okay.
and get a little bit more clarity.
where are we going to read tomorrow?
Where should we start tomorrow? Let's see. Let me see. I'm all jumping all over the place with the Psukim over here. 1 second.
I think it's either 9 or 10.
I think, let's see. Okay, let's read over 10, 9. Well, 9 and 10. We'll start 9 and 10.
Okay.
Okay.
9. Okay. Very good.
Okay.
Are we on a break?
We're on a break and we'll start Hilchos Yom Tov again in a few minutes. Be'ezus Hashem.
Have a good
Thank you
day,
very
everyone.
much. Thank you. Bye.
Roy, have a good afternoon. Hope
Thank
to see you
you.
tomorrow. Okay,
Amen.
we'll be back in a few minutes.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Petkus,